This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian from Movie Reviews and More. And if it's Tuesday, I always start off with, it's always Giving Tuesday. Always give to your favorite charities, foundations, you name it, and it'll be good. Oh, there's the lady in red popping out at last minute.
Well, wait.
So with that, Rachel, so it's one of those things where streaming on over 100 outlets around the world, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, and you name it. It's one of those things where you never know what's going to happen with Movie Reviews and More. When one of the co-hosts just pops in with red and everything like that, which is fun. So, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, and he may be spotty because his, it's the internet thing, the one and only the dapper Howard Wiggins. And so with that, we have Eric G., we have Ken O'Donnell, we have the power of prosperity, personality, which I find fascinating. I can't wait to meet Eric. And we've got an interesting documentary that I really like called The House We Live In. From Tim. So Eric, I want to start off with you. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're coming about, and I'll fill in the blanks because you're really fascinating with what you have going on. And then we could talk about the test that I took of who we are and what we're going to be.
So I'm a writing coach, life coach, and I wrote a book. So I guess I'm an author. And it's called...
You are an author.
Yes, I am an author. I got to get used to saying that. And it's called The Power of Personality. And it's basically based on the decade that I spent coaching and owning an education company. And it's about reading people and understanding different personality types and understanding how your own personality type interacts with others to make the world and your life better.
And so with that, over 20 years of being an experience. And so when you've got a Hulu and you've got Disney and those companies and over, let's say 40 high schools and whatever the university count may be, you've got to be good because they don't just give in to anything. I said it for you, Eric, so I save you the answer to that. And it's true. If you got those companies doing that, that means you got something going on. And I took that personality test, and I thought it was great. So, Tim, let's go to you now. Let's talk about this great documentary that is really important. When you've got MIT, you've got Harvard, you've got those universities doing studies and screenings on that, because a lot of people are having brain traumas and things are happening to them. One of my friends, Linda Efjen, her husband fell and hit his head. And we think he has something going on with his brain now. He's the brilliant guy, but the body's not keeping up to how his brain should be moving and vice versa. It's really interesting. That's fascinating. They talk about this documentary, and we're going to show a trailer after I introduce the co-host, Ted.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. We're super excited. It's been 12 years making this film. We've made other feature-length documentaries during that time, but this one's very unique because it's about my dad. My dad's doing great, but sadly he fell one day, had a traumatic brain injury, and I picked up the camera and started filming when he was in a coma, all the way from him learning how to walk, talk again, to the point of memory. And the film really focuses on what is memory. He lost big chunks of his memory. The old house that we lived in, he cannot remember at all. And so I take him on this journey to try to recover those lost memories by going back to that place. And yeah, we're super excited. The film just came out on Apple TV. And like you mentioned, we've done a bunch of educational screenings, a screening tour. We did 50 screenings last year. So just pumped that it's out now and excited to talk more about it. And, thanks for having me on. It's always great to talk about films with other folks.
And we are going to talk about films, and you are that award winner too. So now I got to get to the lovely girls, the co-hosts. I just love how they see Tasha following your thing, popping on at the last moment. My God, Rachel looks really good. That's not Chef Rachel Roberts in Houston, Texas. She's got red lipstick on. What's going on with her? And then we've got Tosh, vocally Tosh. I don't know. She looks like she just came back from the beach or Costa Rica, like Dean Piper, or something like that. I don't know what she's doing. So she's that singer-songwriter, vocally Tosh from Rumbos. And then Terri just popped out. See, I told you guys I wasn't kidding about this. This is what happens. All right, so Rachel, I know you're having communication problems. My God, you look like a model. What's going on? What's with the red and the lipstick and everything? You look hot.
Well, I was, every time I do a podcast, I like to go on TikTok live, and I couldn't do any of that tonight. I mean, I just now got, does it sound okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
Different system. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I mean, every time I'm on movie reviews and more, I like to wear my power color, which is red. So I'm dressed up for you, baby.
Well, you know what? That makes me almost interesting. Almost. But the thing about that is, congratulations with that, because she's doing a lot of things. Tell them who you are, Rachel, and all the stuff that you're doing, and on Dean Piper's show.
Right. Okay. So in the mornings, I have a little show. It's called and it comes on Monday through Friday, and anytime between 4 and 10 in the morning, and sometimes even later. Just depends on what time I wake up. But just talking about bullshit, and it's grown, and some of the news people catch on to it sometimes, and they ask me to be on Fox News. So it's growing. It's a lot of fun. I'm shooting on locations, and I'm interviewing different people, and cool stuff like that. And then working with Pipe Man. Yeah, this is another podcast that I do, The Adventures of Pipe Man, that comes on Wednesdays at 1 Eastern, and it's like they allow me to they take off my leash, and I'm just wild and crazy, and who knows what's going to come out of my mouth. It's really bad sometimes. Last night when it was another podcast that I co-host, and it got a little out of control, and I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want anybody to see it, because they made me a relationship influencer, which is hysterical because I was single for a very long time. And anyway, without getting into
and now she's got a cousin boyfriend. I said it.
God. Oh my God. Okay. So we're not going into that. So no, we're not, Brian. Yeah, good things, a lot of fun. Brian is going to come and see me this summer, and aren't you? No, I'm throwing. That's what you do. You throw it out into the universe, and you get me all over the place. So I'm doing the same. Brian's going to come and see me soon, and so y'all will. I'm bringing Hollywood to Houston.
I can't say anything. I can't say anything.
Yeah.
I never know. So with that, vocally Tosh is going to you, followed by Terri, and then Tim, I'm coming to you.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Nathasha Rumbos. I've been with Brian since the pandemic, so it's been quite a journey. I'm a singer-songwriter, but I also do radio as well in Miami. I live in Miami, and I've been a little gone from our Tuesday shows because it's been like pretty hectic. I just am recording a new collaboration, and it's like my first collaboration with somebody that doesn't live in Miami. So it's a little hard to kind of get on the same page. And it's we have Zoom and all that stuff, but it's not the same as being in person. So I was a little stressed out about that before I got on the show, because we were trying to finalize everything. But I love music, honestly. I feel like with music, you have your ups and downs, and eventually, your whole vision comes to the finalization. So currently, I've been this year I declared it, and I said that I was going to be more open to collaborations, which I have been doing, and it has helped me grow as an artist. I have learned so many new techniques and creative ideas that I didn't have before. So it's been fun, and that's what I do. I love music. I'm also a bartender. So, I'm always out there with the people. I love being around people. And then that's me, Tosh baby.
Okay. And Terri, I know you're probably coming from the hospital or something like that, which is why she's in her car. Just talk about who you are and what's going on with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I was working today, so that's why I have to do this show from the car today. I had to pull over because I wasn't able to get home in time. My name is Terri Bray. I've been with Brian since 2014 as his co-host. I do red carpet interviews with Brian for celebrity events. I'm a fitness competitor. I won my first show in 2014 at Muscle Beach, placing first place. I've won several competitions. I am going back to the stage. I'm going to be competing July 15th. And you know what? I just want to say something. Sometimes your haters give you more inspiration, because my brother today told me that there's no way I'm getting a trophy and that I will lose. So therefore, I'm going to win just because I had that thrown in my face today. So, you know, sometimes
this is what we always say, Terri.
What?
Show them what they said couldn't be done.
Exactly. So the more people that tell me I can't do something, and Brian knows it, I'm going to do it. So he just fuels my fire. And what's so sad is sometimes the people that should be close to you are your biggest haters. It shocks me, but it's, you know, after I think this competition, I think I'm going to write a book. I think I finally am ready to write that book about just what my experiences of just like, people that are supposed to support you sometimes don't, but I guess it makes you stronger. But on another tangent, get off that tangent. I also, I'm working on I've been working on a project for a while, an art project. I'm going to pick that back up. Now that I've kind of gotten through some things to get myself, back in gear. I work with orthopedics. I'm in medical sales, but I also do patient fittings for bracing and support. So that would be back bracing, hip bracing, knee bracing. I work with athletic trainers. My company works with the NFL. So that's another, fun aspect of my job. So I actually am just leaving a hospital because I had a big meeting at one of my hospitals I work with. And I'm a busy person.
And Tim, that's why I wanted to go into you next, because that whole thing about everything is when people have falls, whether it's hips, whatever, they fall and hit their head, like a couple of friends of mine have done, they're not the same. And talk about this. I've always told people who've done documentaries, it takes an average of 7 years to do a documentary. Yours took a while. It felt a long time to you, but that's really the average. So the fact is, you're an award-winning documentary now. Congratulations. And Gravitas is a great film, company that puts out things like that. So that's even better. And so when I saw this, I was very happy, because this relates to a lot of people, what America is going through on health issues. Talk about that. And I'm going to show this trailer and why I like this film.
Yeah, thank you. I know it's interesting because this film was at the precipice of me starting a production company. We do commercial video and documentaries. And in that span of 12 years, it took 12 years to make this film. We started and finished 6 other feature-length documentaries, some of which have gone with Gravitas and had great success. But it's wild to wrap this one and, have it out finally, because we've been talking about it for so long. But yeah, if you want to show the trailer, and then I can tell you a little bit more about the film and what goes on in it.
Okay.
Tim, it's Mom. I don't want to upset you, but Dad's in the emergency room. They don't quite know what's wrong with him. They're doing everything. He's conscious. He passed out this morning on the floor or something. But I don't want you to freak out, but you might want to, come.
Come on, Dad, open your eyes. Just once. Open your eyes. Come on, Dad.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Do you remember me and Lulu and Aaron and TJ living in the house?
Time, you have lost your whole other life.
We did lose a big part of Dad. A lot of Dad left when he fell.
What does it feel like when it comes back? Do you just all of a sudden remember it, or?
I think I had dreams.
Oh, so your memories come back in the form of dreams?
Maybe with time I'll remember it, and maybe the attachment to those times will be there. We had some good times for 20 years. It's a house where the kids grew up, but it's like a butterfly. I don't know if I can catch it.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing the trailer. As you can tell, very personal film. You're asking about like what happens before and after. And, you know, through this process, we've met so many folks that have had various brain injuries. And we went to Spalding Rehab, which is one of the best places on the planet to go for brain injury recovery and rehab. And, you know, my dad had one of the most miraculous recoveries they've ever seen. And we got to start a support group there and meet all these folks. And you see such a range of folks who are more in a vegetative state, communication issues, to people like my dad, where if you saw my dad right now or he's part of this, you might not know that he had a brain injury. But there are very specific things that are completely different with my dad. There are chunks that are still there, but you see this little space reference. And in the film, the full film, you see this NASA footage and his new excitement for space. He would never be interested in space prior. And he woke up from the coma and just was obsessed, honestly, with space and the concept of space and time travel and all that. And it's a metaphor for the brain in some ways. We know things about space, we know things about the brain, but there's quite a bit that we don't know. So interesting kind of layer that came together with the film and my dad. But, you know, we're lucky because a lot of him is still there. And the new stuff, although could be perceived as problematic and, you know, hard for us, it ended up being in the film. You kind of see this like slow acceptance and the beautiful part of my dad, because he's such a funny guy. And there's so many interesting things that kind of happen when you have an injury like he had. And he's become an advocate too. He's helped so many people. He's, you know, he'll go and speak, and yeah, it's been an amazing ride. And it's all new to us as a family, but now we're a part of that, you know, brain injury community.
And go ahead, Josh. I know you're gonna say something.
Yeah, no, this kind of like made me a little emotional because this past weekend my grandma suffered a fall, and we were all, and she's 80, she just turned 80, and I thank God that, you know, nothing happened like how it did with your dad, but that like kind of hit home. I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't even imagine, like, you know, what you went through with your dad. Like right now, my grandma, like her face is swollen, like she's like all scratched up, but like thank God, like, you know, it just didn't get worse than that. She was just scared, like she's like afraid of like walking now. But I really applaud you for really like taking on this documentary, because I know it's like your dad, and you know, I'm pretty sure it was emotional, and you could see that through the trailer. So I just wanted to, you know, sorry I got a little but I think you just got all those emotions, and that's really important in a documentary, and you definitely did that. So
yeah, go ahead, Terri, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I'm dealing with my mom who has dementia, and it's the hardest thing I'm dealing with. And then I have a brother who's neglected her, and I'm fighting to like get her care, and he's fighting me. What's the sad part of this? And this is that I'm trying so hard to get my mom care, and my brother right now is blocking me because I have to get a psych evaluation to get him away from her. And I'm not lying or anything. So like, if anybody wants to come after me that's listening to this is a fact. These are facts. And it's so traumatic to watch somebody in that situation. So, I don't know. I could relate to it. So I would really like to see the documentary.
Eric, I'm coming to you in a minute, but Tim, this could happen to anybody. That's the different thing on it. Anybody, doesn't matter what age, because I know a lot of people who have a, you know, short-term memory. I talk to them every day to check out.
I can't remember the kids' names half the time. I get them mixed up with the dog. I mean, you know, it kind of hitting home within myself. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm not going to say this. I'm like, but I mean, when you said that it came through, it comes back, and he said it was like having dreams. You know, that really, you know, it's like my ears perked up, and I wonder, you know, if that's how it's going to be, you know, eventually with me.
Yeah, I mean, part of this process too, we talked to experts in the field and worked with some folks at Harvard, and you know, there's obviously a double-edged sword to memory, and there's reasons we can't retain everything in fact, it'd be pretty problematic, you know, if we did, you know, sort of take everything with us, all that stimuli. So it's like, you know, part of Todd's, you know, as you see my dad's, part of his journey is like, we lost the house. He can't go back there, you know, so the film kind of gets into this, like, you know, maybe he's blocking it. His brain is blocking it because it's too hard for him to remember, you know. And then the dreams are so wild. I mean, the fact that he's getting his memories back in the form of dreams is super interesting. And so we shot all these dream sequences, and yeah, no, you know, we were with some of the best neurosurgeons on the planet, and nobody can be like, oh, it's because of this or that. They're like, all of them are just like, we know nothing. The points of the head where it doesn't matter. So. Yeah, I mean, we're all losing our memories in one shape or form or the other, but
yeah,
you know, that's life, right? And so, but my dad's like such an incredible role model, you know, and just he's such a likable guy too, you know. Like my Boston accent's a little bit. When you see the film, my dad has like the perfect, like, you know, Mark Wahlberg accent, and he's just a lovable guy, you know. He's hilarious. So. Yeah, you know, the film is important for like a lot of reasons, you know, whether it's trauma, coming back from tragedy, family dynamics, you know, and then memory and you know, the way the brain works. It's all kind of in there.
Was it a lot of short-term memory?
What's that?
I just said, did your father have a lot of short-term memory lapses? Was that a big part of it? That's a big part of what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I know, we're lucky. I mean, it's all long term. You know, he's so sharp. He remembers so many different things, but he doesn't remember like 20 years of me and my 3 siblings growing up. And then the house, it's the physical house. He can remember everything outside, around, you know, but that place is completely gone from his brain. Just that one place. Everything else is there. And again, it's telling to how maybe we operate as humans, you know, when trauma happens or whatever. It's just a block, you know. It's like a complete block for him. And you know what? He's fine with it. It's wild. You watch the film, and we're the ones trying to catch up and deal with it. You know, he's kind of like, you know, very okay with it. And that was a common theme among, again, folks that have had traumatic brain injuries in that, you know, very sharp like moment where, you know, things just completely change. Obviously, short-term memory and a lot of those other things. I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard to witness, too. You know, and be the caretaker. Sometimes you'll see in the film, my mom, it has a lot of amazing moments. She's an amazing human, but you know, you really empathize with the caretaking and like her having to deal with that. You know, because that's a big shift, obviously, for anybody that's married to somebody that now has a completely different personality and brain and everything. You know.
Hey, Eric, I wanted to talk about this because one of the things I was interested in, how would you do personality when something has happened to someone like his dad? And then going into how you started this, because guess what I am? And then I'll tell you if you're right or not.
Oh, I got to guess right now? That's a lot of pressure. Oh, how about can I guess a fox? Is that close? Oh.
I ended up being the bear.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So what Eric's going to tell you, what happens with, you know, these companies and universities and schools and things like that, is I took a personality test. And it was not even 5 minutes, I don't think. It was fascinating. I thought I was a dolphin. So I ended up being, is it the gatherers is it the gatherers I am?
Yeah, that would be a gatherer, yeah. So
yeah,
I can explain. There's 4 different.
Explain that, and then I want you to go around to everybody else and see what they may be. That's a test for you. I really want to see. I want to see what Tasha and Rachel is, and Howard and Terry. I'm curious.
Well, I don't even get to ask any questions. But anyway, there are 4.
You can ask them anything. Go ahead. Go.
So there are 4 main packs of people, and I explained that first because then there's 4 animal types within the packs, making 16 different personalities. But I think it's important for people to know that there are 4 packs because each one is motivated by different things. And I often feel like when we appreciate people's differences, we tend to accept like the superficial differences, like, oh, this person's like spontaneous and I'm more responsible or organized, but we don't necessarily appreciate that people have different values than we do. We just assume that people all value the same thing, and I think that's different. And because the percentage of the packs differ, so there's like half the population fits into a gatherer type, and you have half the population fitting into one type, that means their values tend to be permeate society, and sometimes that can conflict with other minority types, I guess you could say. So
So since I'm the bear, explain that one to them.
You know, I don't. You took my test and got the bear? Oh, I don't know if that's right. You know, I'm gonna like. I don't want to crap on my own test, but I feel like my test got that wrong. You definitely don't seem like a bear at all.
What do I seem like?
Okay, you tell us what the bear is, and we'll tell you if he's the bear.
Okay, the bear is like soft-spoken, strong, silent Superman, Forrest Gump type. And you seem more like, you might be very close to that. You might be an elephant, which is actually very similar to bear. And an elephant is like the party planner. They bring people together. They're very good conversationalists, and they're kind of like the Ron Weasley. Like I don't know. I use Ron Weasley as a reference, but like Cher from Clueless. Cher from Clueless is an elephant, and you know they bring people together.
So no, that is right. I almost
Brian's definitely an elephant.
Yeah, okay. I did pick that. I'm like, I fit into all of those. So what do you think Rachel might be?
Okay, granted, this is a real thin slice, but I say a peacock.
I can relate to peacocks.
You can relate to peacocks?
I mean, you know, like my tail going up. Yeah, I'm like a little showboat.
Yeah, and clearly I also guess because you know the red is a very bright color, red's flashy, you know, you're like, look at me, and that's great.
That's me. Okay. You're pretty good at that. I like
okay. Well, so I don't have to even tell that.
Okay, so what would Howard be?
Okay, this is actually kind of close to peacock, but a butterfly. So a butterfly is like the understated peacock, like just the way you're dressed, like it's very stylish, and you know, and it matches. And not to say that other types are not stylish and they can't match, but if you were to compare a peacock and a butterfly, that they're pretty similar. The peacock's a little flashier, and the butterfly is a little bit more understated. And so, and you're very quiet. You seem so. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Are you fairly gentle? Like, do you seem like you're a gentle person? I don't know.
Is he frozen?
I don't know.
Howard, what do you think?
Howard?
Yeah. I think you're gentle. You think you're gentle?
I think he's gentle.
I'm easygoing. I'm very easygoing.
Yeah,
I don't get upset too much.
He looks gentle.
Until he gets on the dance floor, and then he's John Travolta. No, seriously. Okay. Yeah. What would Tim be? I'm curious because he's got that director. He's got his headphones and everything.
That's a tough one because the other ones I'm guessing were hunters, part of the hunter pack, and hunters are a lot more action oriented, so it's easier to see quickly. I'd say, like maybe a killer whale, and that's a total guess. Maybe a dolphin. That's what I'm going to guess. And I know I'm just saying random animals, and people are like, "What the heck? Like, what are these random animals?" But that's why you have to buy the book, Power of Personality, and then you can see these animal types. But so the pack that the dolphin falls under would be a shaman pack. So I don't know. That's a total guess, but shamans are all about like finding. Can I ask you a question, Tim?
Absolutely.
And I know you might be interested in both these things, but like, what do you think is more important to you, like information in general, or would you rather discover stuff about yourself?
Ooh, wow, those are two very different things. Shit. I guess information. Yeah, external versus internal. Yeah.
Okay. You know, actually, I changed my mind. Not a dolphin, maybe a killer whale or a spider. So I just yeah, but.
That'll be my new tattoo. I'm getting that for a tattoo. Boom.
You know, spiders actually don't
just like that.
But now, locally, Tosh, what would she be?
Do you like to dance?
I love to dance. Yes.
Would you dance if you didn't know how to dance? Like if you danced poorly, if someone said like, "Yeah, you're a terrible dancer," you're like, "Yeah, I'm still going out there."
Yeah, because I used to be a terrible dancer, and then I became, I started taking lessons, and then I got flown to Venezuela, and I learned how to dance. So yes.
I was gonna go with a peacock as well, but it's because you took lessons. That seems a little slightly on the down low. You're like, oh, I'm not that great of a dancer. So I'm gonna take lessons, and then I'm gonna show people how I can dance. I'm gonna go with a fox, and foxes are kind of so all like the fox, the butterfly, and the peacock are actually part of the same pack, so they're all going to share similarities to each other.
Oh, look at us three right here! Boom.
Yeah, You guys seem to like to have fun, and not to say that other types don't like to have fun, but hunters like to have fun more than other types. You know.
Yeah.
And then Terry, don't let the conservatism in her fool you. What is she?
This is work. This is my work outfit. Like,
Yeah, that's what I said. Don't let that fool you.
I have to do presentations in front of surgeons. So I work with surgeons, and so that, yeah.
Can I ask you one question?
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone ever, and this is, by the way, don't take offense to this, but does anyone ever think that you're mean? Yeah.
If you piss me off and you're on the wrong, yeah.
All right.
But only if they deserve it.
Okay,
We
that's
all
fair enough.
laughed at that one.
So that's a yes. What you're saying. That's a yes. No.
I'm
So-
only mean to people that are mean to me. Okay, so they.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to guess you're a shark, and I'm not saying this because this literally fits. So I said the hunters. There's 4 animals per hunter, or 4 animals per pack. So there are 4 hunters. So shark is literally the last hunter. So you guys make up all 4 of the animals.
Ooh.
And I just guessed shark too because like your training and your like the physical nature, the sharks are the most physical. And generally, and I asked the mean question. There's nothing wrong. My sister's a shark, so I know, and she would say that exactly. If you asked her if she was mean, she'd be like, "That's because people sometimes deserve it."
Yeah.
So,
Yes, people are assholes. I mean it.
Yep.
I did a professional personality test for work back in like a month ago, and it was really interesting because I had I can't remember, there was like thinker, there was like you know, out there kind of like the peacock, and I kind of got between the thinker and I would be like the thinker and a peacock. So I don't know, is the thinker kind of more like analytical, kind of think things, plan things out, but I kind of got the middle of 2. I got the peacock. I got those 2 kind of mixed personalities on this test.
yeah, and that's actually kind of matches the shark. Not, I'm literally just making confirmation bias, but so since the hunters basically are all based on visceral excitement and just kind of like getting the most physically out of life. So the shark, the only difference is they go about it in different ways, and the shark is a little bit more precise. So they're a little bit more like, I always say, like the difference between a fox and a shark is if a fox wants to get laid, they go to a bar and ask 1,000 people. And then they're like, well, you know, like I might get 999 rejections, but that still means I'm going to bed with someone tonight, you know? Your shark might be like, I'm going to sit here in the corner and wait and observe. And then when I find my prey, I'm going to go for that and go hard.
Oh my God. I just got flashbacks to college.
So with like adventure, like I like to do I like adventure as far as like say jet skiing and traveling and that stuff. So I guess that probably would go on that side of a shark too, the adventure side.
Yeah, they tend to, as opposed to like maybe peacocks and butterflies, the foxes and the sharks. Sorry, I'm getting really wonky with this, but the fox and the shark, they like adrenaline. So it's like the difference between maybe rather going on like on a roller coaster or skydiving versus like the other 2 types, like consumption. So like maybe like just, you know, eating a great meal or I don't know, listening to beautiful music.
Yeah, I like that.
The older I got, the more I got into more of like less materialistic things and more adventure. I kind of grew into that. Yeah.
Now here's the kicker on something. Here's one. So Rebel, she said exactly what I was gonna ask. You don't know her, you can't see her, but what would her voice say of what you heard to begin with? And then Terry, this Eric is the one I'm going to see Saturday. Then he goes, let me think about it. Now I know you want to go see him Saturday, don't you?
I sent you an email that I could go.
Oh, it's too late. I grabbed another girl instead. No, I'm kidding. I did. I told you they're in waiting. So Eric, all right. So on Rebel, you only heard. I'm calling her the voice of Goddess from now on. That's Rebel's new name. So you heard her voice. See, she likes it. What do you think?
So just one question. Does she, to you, and you can answer it, does she come off as more bossy or serious?
I'm not going to say anything. All right.
You can answer that question. It won't offend me. Go ahead, answer. Rachel and
right.
Brian, answer that question.
I would say
nothing. Neither one of them will offend me, so feel free to be honest.
No, of course. I would say more serious. I don't think she's bossy. I think she's intelligent. So we go to her for, like if there's anything technical that comes up, we're like Rebel, and she always has the answers and gets it really quick. I wouldn't say she's, she has to be bossy. I think she's, definitely the intelligent one of our group.
She knows her stuff.
She does.
She's very intelligent. She's on it, but she's also got this playful, goofy side too. Also,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Where she wears these silly glasses that you can't help but laugh, and she's playful. And in another life, she would definitely marry me in another life. That's for sure.
So based on what they tell you, what do you think I fit in?
I'm just gonna say a beaver. And so the beaver would be another gatherer. I know everyone. I know that also sounds a little dirty, and also sounds like it's either dirty or boring, and people don't like it. But
but it fits right in. Believe me.
Oh, they're gonna talk about this on Dean's show tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Rebel, aren't you on OnlyFans?
Only on the Adventures of Pipe Man. Only on the Adventures of Pipe Man.
Yes.
So, Eric, talk about this. How did you get this into Hulu? How did you get it into Disney? Because Disney's not easy to get into with everything.
Yeah, it was really specifically in the software engineering side. So I had a friend who was a product manager. I don't know the difference, but apparently that's a big difference there. But you got to ask a software engineer. But so anyway, she was a product manager, and so I helped her set these things up, and she used them with multiple teams that she worked with. And she worked at Hulu she worked at Disney first, and then she worked at Hulu, and she kind of spread the word that way. And then I just started instructing them on better ways to, I guess, interact with each other. It sounds like a terrible thing to say, but like better ways to work better together. And I think it's also important, especially for software engineers, because their people skills are not always the greatest. So I think sometimes that was very helpful for them to go like, oh, okay, like this person's not an asshole. They kind of are, but we're all rowing in the same direction. So let's do that the best way we can. But
I think that's fascinating. Now, here's an interesting one. So what happened to Tim's dad? Could you still give this personality test in a different way? And how would it work? Would it help?
That's a great question, because I often get that asked a lot about like trauma, right? So I work with a lot of students, and oftentimes I would see that they were, unfortunately, some of them were victims of child abuse. And it was interesting because it was a family, or like, let's say 3 siblings. And it's interesting because they reacted differently. Each one reacted differently based on their own personality, right? So to trauma, like let's say one might be closed off and the other one might be a little bit more aggressive. They might have a little more fight with a chip on their shoulder. So I'd imagine like with that kind of trauma, I think depending on someone's personality type, they just might respond to it differently.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is my dad has an addictive personality, and so like he actually had a full neuropsych before he had his injury. He was like a salesman, people person, and his addictions are some common ones that he's battled and overcame. But some of them are kind of hilarious. Like he claims he was addicted to Big Red gum, Cheetos, tanning, lifting weights. So it's like, yeah. Diet Coke, Fresca. Yeah, it's just like really funny random things. But one thing he was super into was gambling. And like that was actually something that was good for him after his injury. And like a lot of his old traits kind of came back when he would be, when he was in that world of like thinking. But yeah, he's definitely the same maybe in a lot of ways. So I wonder if he took Eric's test before and after, it might be the same in some ways because that's still kind of there. But he's got no filter too. Like he would have said a lot of.
He's from Boston. I'm from Connecticut. I know what you Boston people are like. I'm from Connecticut. I'm more the calmer. I'm like, I got to calm them so that they don't get in fights.
We're mass holes. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Hey, so Eric, talk about your book launch. Talk about Saturday.
Oh, so yeah, I'm having a book. Well, actually, so technically today is my pub day, I guess they call it. And so it's being released today. I mean, it's been on pre-order for quite a while, but it should be in stores within the next few days. And on Saturday, we're having a book launch here in LA that Brian's going to be coming to, and hopefully Terri can as well. We're going to have waffle pops, not that might entice you or not, but and of course we'll have
That
wine.
already enticed me, and I'm not even in LA.
You can take a flight, quick flight, you know.
But here's the thing: you guys can take the test. See, I never know. I don't really tell them who's coming on the show, so it's like a surprise to everybody. And it's one of those things where I like Ross. Got to thank Ross Wolf, and I like Holly. Got to thank Holly Davison. They're really two good publicists out there. They've been friends of ours for a long time. So it's one of those things that I'm actually leaving the TCM Film Festival to go to see Eric. And I love what he said, because Rachel is definitely a peacock. That's her new middle name now. And the fact that she's wearing red, that makes her, you hit Tosh right on her. And Terri, she is good, Eric. You don't want to pitch Terri up because she snaps back. You know, she's got that, you pissed me off and she won't let go.
I'm a Leo, though.
I'm a Leo. What does that have to do with anything?
Because Leos are very strong-willed. And Leos are probably one of the most loving signs, but we're strong-willed, and we don't let people push us around. Usually, a true Leo. A true Leo's not gonna stand up for crap.
I'm not an asshole.
That's not being an asshole. Standing up for yourself is not being an asshole.
I don't let people walk over me. That's
No, I'll just be transparent. I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and so because I've had to protect myself with that trauma, it comes out that way. It's just a protection. It's a psychology. That's where it comes from. So.
And these are the things that you deal with, Eric, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's it. So Tim, before we go back to Tim, because we got about 7 minutes left. So Eric, you're into 80s and 90s pop culture, and you're a classical pianist and things like that, which is fascinating to me. I expect to walk in there and have like an 80s and 90s themes going on. I look fascinated. I'm coming from a Turner Film Festival classic thing, so I'm actually taking off to go see you, Eric. So that's a lot for me because I'm having fun.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. We do have, you mentioned that I have a signed Reservoir Dogs poster I'm looking at it right now to my right. So that's very 90s-ish.
Yeah.
That qualifies.
Yeah. Well, it's opening night at the TCM Film Festival Thursday night.
Oh, awesome.
So Quentin, Samuel, everybody will be there. See, if I knew you earlier, I might have invited you.
One of my favorite films, clearly.
I hate that film, but everybody loves it.
But, you know, it's a lot of talk.
We're going to get into that. All right, so Tim, you got to talk about some of your other films that you've made, because Gravitas Ventures is a great company. I love what the stuff that they do. I know once I see that title, it's going to be a great film.
Thank you. Yeah, we made a film called Life Without Basketball that followed the first Muslim American b-baller. Yeah, she's the first player to play with hijab on the Division I level, and then she was a rule blocking her for playing pro, and so we followed her for 4.5 years. She eventually overturned the international rule, the ban on hijab, and she played pro, so you get to see that. And that's been on Hulu and SundanceNow, a bunch of networks out there. And that one's out there in the world now. We did a film called Tougher Than a Tank that was executive produced with Casey Affleck. Super nice that he helped out with that project. And that followed two Marines reconnecting after a long time apart. One was physically wounded. The other had like PTSD, so like invisible wounds. And this dude ran 145 miles in 3 days to like see him again for the first time. And so we followed that journey when he was on the road. So yeah, we've been able to make a range of films that kind of like hit different topics. Most of it's like character driven, like we typically are kind of on the road with somebody or on a journey and kind of seeing it unfold as it happens. And then, yeah, we have like a commercial business called Pixella Films, and we do like a range of, TV spots and branded documentary work and branded content. So yeah, good mix of like stuff that takes like a week and then things that take like 12 years, like the film about my dad. So good mix. Yeah.
So Eric, give your website for everybody. I want everybody to go on and take that test because it's fascinating. I mean, it's like literally 3 minutes. He says 5, but I think it's 3 minutes, but it is good. And then you definitely want to see this documentary, award winner. And Eric, you are the author. So that's great. Congratulations to you. And that's one reason why I wanted to have you on. And so I really like this. You know, Tim, I don't know when I can meet you, but I definitely want to meet your dad because I have so many people that have those type of things that are going on, and they're my friends. I check in on them every day, and it is emotional. Thank you for making a film like that because it is very, very important.
Yeah, anytime. My dad takes calls all the time. Happy to, if you're ever in Massachusetts, we'll connect you. You can hang out with him for sure. He's a trip.
Tosh, talk about your music video. We got a couple of minutes left, and what's going on? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I recently released a collaboration last Friday with a Colombian salsa choque singer. So you can check that out on my Instagram. It's on YouTube. It's called Dale Dale. So all I do is Spanish urban music, very like high energy music. So we have that. That came out last Friday, and you'll be seeing some new music, like my own music, coming out next month, which I'm really excited, which is a new song that I've been working on that's been stressing me the fuck out, but it's okay. It's going to come out amazing at the end of the day. And yeah, I've just been working on a lot of collaborations. Honestly, I have like 2 other projects that I'm kind of juggling right now, and I'm just like, I think I need to like take it easy because I'm like starting to get a little stressed, but you know, I'm happy that these projects are here. So I'm just, you know, gonna continue hustling like I always do, and grinding and keep on taking out my music. So I invite you guys to listen to my single Sugar Daddy, which is a very fun dembo song. And then my newest collaboration, Dale Dale. You can follow me at Vocally Tosh on all social media platforms, so you can check that out. And I had so much fun today. This was such an amazing, like a lot of knowledge in here, like personality. Like this was a great show. So thank you guys for coming on.
Eric, give you a website so they can take that test, you know, that 5-minute, really 3-minute test. Because, you know, now that I know what everybody's nickname is, I'm calling them by the nickname. Go ahead, Eric.
Before I always recommend the test, I always say, and I'm not trying to sell books, but the test is, you know, it's not perfect. So the best thing you can do is probably read up on there's portraits on the website and then just read it and kind of see if it matches. I'm only going to say, since Tosh said she called herself a hustler, that's exactly what foxes are. They're hustlers. And they always say, yeah, I'm a hustler. That's what I do. Yeah, so you brought it up is like indicative. But the website is utopiaproject.com for the test. And that's you, like YOU, like YouTube. And yeah, utopiaproject.com. My main site is projectutopia.com. And you might ask, why do I have 2 websites? It's because I created one 5 years ago in WordPress, and we're just keeping SEO. So that's why the test is on there, and we have a bunch of articles as well.
Does the book come in audio form?
It does not yet, but it's on Kindle. That's not audio, but yeah, it's not audio yet.
Not
I'm waiting till
Sammy.
Rebel,
not yet.
Okay with it.
Yeah.
Rebel, don't worry about it. I'm going to see him Saturday. I'll make sure I get one for you. How's that?
Okay.
So wait a minute. Before I go to Rachel, what was Rebel again?
Beaver. Yeah, Beaver, and I'm not super sold on that. So that's the one I'm very not confident in that guess. But I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. There we go. And let's talk about it tomorrow, Rebel.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Rachel, go for it.
Okay, so my name's Rachel Roberts, and I have a show in the morning called Coffee Talk, and you can find me Instagram, Rachel Roberts Recipes, or Facebook, Rachel Ann Roberts. And then tomorrow, Rebel and I have a great podcast with the Adventures of Pipe Man with Dean Piper, and then I'm now doing another podcast that I co-host called Love on the Rocks, and that's exciting. And yeah, I work with Fox News every now and then. You can see me on there. That's about it.
So she goes from the calm peacock to the extreme peacock to the really over extreme peacock, and I'm not kidding. Howard Wiggins, tell them who you are. Tell them what's going on. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Howard Wiggins. I have a voice book coming out where I play a rabbit. It's Diane Fly. And I play Nigel the rabbit. It's Over the Hill and Through and Far Away. And then come the 27th, I'm doing a movie called Without Warning, and that's coming up. So I've got a lot of studying to do to try to get that in by 10 days from now, and that's by King Daddy is his name. So I got two things coming: a movie and a book.
Yeah.
You can find me on Terri Marie nonstop on all platforms, and I'll probably be video journeying my journey in the next 3 months on prepping for a show. I think I need to do that. So if you're interested, follow me.
And Tim, you get the last word. Go for it.
Yeah, you can check our work out on pixellafilms.com. And we have 2 new feature-length documentaries that we're working on right now. One about a wrongful conviction. Somebody did 13 years in prison and is now since out. We're following that journey. And we have another film about a veteran who lost both her arms, elbow up, and she's a gamer. She plays video games with her feet.
Wow,
We're developing a video game with her. Yeah, and she's amazing. She wears T-Rex t-shirts to mirror her new body image. She's hilarious. And yeah, so she's directing a video game that's going to be woven into the film, and then we'll have the video game and the film, for like folks to check out both. But yeah, we got all sorts of films on our site and commercial work and stuff. And yeah, this was awesome. It's so nice to be able to talk to other creatives, folks who are in different industries, similar industries, and man, we don't get to do it enough. So I just appreciate the time and the space for that.
And I'm not even going to say anything. Like I said, I'm glad that everybody came on. The House We Lived In, a great documentary, an award winner, and The Power of Personality by Eric G. So thank you for everybody. And I always say this: have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. You see someone without a smile, give them one of yours because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.